Hi friends, Miss Dani from the Pleasant Hills Public Library, and I would like to welcome you to our second episode of STEAM Creatures. So let's see. Do you remember what all the letters in STEAM stand for? Science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And today we will be using all 5 of those subject areas to learn a little bit more about animal homes. So when we say animal home, what comes to mind? Do you think of a bird's nest or maybe an animal's burrow? Well, those are both examples of animal homes. And now let's look at some pictures as we learn a little bit more about animal habitats and animal homes.
All animals need a place to live. Most animals are born into a particular habitat. Habitats are characterized by their climate and location. The main types of habitats include forests, deserts, wetlands, oceans, and the Arctic, but there are other smaller, more specific habitats such as rainforests, rivers, and urban locations. Within their habitat, many animals choose to build homes. So how is a home different from a habitat? Think of a habitat as a neighborhood and a home as a house within that neighborhood. A habitat has many different species living within that area, and a home is a place within that habitat where a particular animal species lives, sometimes just the mother and the babies, or sometimes a large group of one species. Animal homes come in all different shapes and sizes. Sometimes they're easy to see and sometimes they're camouflaged. The structure of an animal home depends on the particular animal, its environment, and its specific needs. Some animals build burrows underground. Some build nests high in the trees, and yet others utilize the natural environment and make their home inside caves and fallen trees. Many animals design their homes to trap heat in and keep cold out to protect their young. All homes need to provide access to food and water, protection from predators and the weather, and a safe place to raise a family.
And now, friends, I'd like to share a book with you that goes into a little bit more detail about specific animals and their homes. This is Homes in the Wild, Where Baby Animals and Their Parents Live, written and illustrated by Lita Judge, and read today with permission of Roaring Book Press and Macmillan Publishing. Every animal needs a home. A home might be as simple as a tree. This brown-throated, 3-toed sloth baby clings to his mother while she climbs branches like you do at Jungle Gym. Here they find leaves to eat and safety from predators. Mother and baby feel so safe in the trees that they come down to the ground only about once a week to pee and poop. Baby European rabbits are born snug underground inside a burrow. Their home is part of a walled-in city with an interconnected network of tunnels and chambers called a warren. Large warrens can house hundreds of rabbits, and some include over 2,000 entrances for a quick escape from a fox. A home can be hidden. 3 black bear cubs peek out from their den under the roots of a tree. Their mother dug it in the previous fall to hibernate in through winter. She also raked in leaves to make a comfy bed where she gave birth to her cubs. And now that it's spring, her cubs will soon join her outside. A bobcat litter stays safely hidden in a rocky crevice that their mother has lined with moss and grass. She leaves them for long periods to hunt. When the cubs are old enough, they will establish their own territories and find shelter within hollow logs, under rocky ledges, or in the thickets of a bush. A baby porcupine stays hidden within a hollow log in the daytime while his mother sleeps in a nearby tree. She wakes up at night to forage for food and nurse her baby. When he is old enough to climb, he will sleep in his own tree. A home can be high in the trees. A young koala, over here, called a joey, clings to his mother's back while she climbs the limbs of a eucalyptus tree, which provides both a home and food. But eucalyptus leaves contain little nutrition, so the mother and Joey conserve their energy by sleeping for about 20 hours a day. High in the trees, golden snub-nosed monkeys find lichens, leaves, and bark to eat, and protection from predators like wolves and tigers. Their long limbs and tails make jumping from tree to tree and swinging on swaying branches look easy. At night, they squeeze together with their babies in the center of the tree to keep warm. A baby, silky anteater sleeps in the nest inside a tree hole. During the day, he rides on his father's back while his parents forage for ants. The family has golden fur that looks like the soft fibrous seed pods of the silk cotton kapuk trees they live in. This camouflage makes it hard for the predators to see them. A home can be underground. Coyote parents rarely dig a shelter to raise their pups in. They prefer to find a rocky crevice or an abandoned badger or fox den. Their pups stay safely hidden in their simple one-chamber den until they're about 3 to 4 weeks old, when they begin to venture out. Eventually, they'll follow their parents to learn to hunt and patrol the territory. A long-eared jerboa uses her mouse-sized paws and teeth to dig a complex burrow with several tunnels and entrances. Her home has food larders, sleeping chambers, and a nursery lined with grasses and camel hair where she raises her young. She even protects the burrow's entrance by making doors out of soil plugs to keep her burrow hidden and cool when the outside desert temperature soars to a furnace like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Whew, that's hot. Baby 9-banded armadillos are also born in a world of cool darkness far below ground, safe from the desert sun and predators. Once they are grown, they'll use their large shovel-like claws to dig their own burrows. But one home isn't enough for an armadillo. As if building several weekend cottages, each one may dig up to 12 burrows scattered throughout its range. A home can cover many miles of open country. Animals with legs suited for walking or running rather than digging live in open rangeland. Siberian tiger cubs are born in a natal den, but within 6 months they join their mother in roaming a territory that can stretch up to 4,000 square miles. Mother marks her territory with urine and scat and by rubbing against trees to leave behind her scent and hair. This tells other tigers that it's her home. To make sure they get the message, she also scratches long slash marks on trees and in the ground. A bonded pair of dik-dik antelopes works constantly to mark their boundaries of their home range. Together, they deposit urine in dung piles and rub their scent on twigs and blades of grass. Their fawn will stay safely hidden until she is old enough to roam with her parents. The family establishes a maze of trails called runways through the thick bush that they use to escape predators. Mole deer and their fawns share their home range, migrating to different locations depending on the season. In summer, they roam at higher elevations, but in winter, they gather in herds in lower areas where it isn't as snowy and cold. It may seem like they wander randomly, but in truth, they keep to well-worn trails. At night and during the heat of the day, they bed down in a secluded place. You can find deer beds by looking for dung piles near oval areas of flattened grass. A home can be a cozy nest. A woodpecker's old nest makes a perfect winter den for an eastern gray squirrel. But in summer, a den can be hot, so many squirrels build a home with natural air conditioning by weaving dried leaves and twigs into a round nest called a dray. Males build their own nests, while females and their young share a nest. You can spot drays in winter when the trees are bare by looking for round balls of leaves high up in the branches. A bushy-tailed wood rat, or pack rat, builds a smaller nest inside a large stick den in a cave or rock crevice. She might use cactus joints, pine cones, pieces of bone, and even cardboard or plastic in her building materials. These rats are attracted to shiny objects like pieces of glass, foil, and coins. In fact, the name pack rat comes from their habit of collecting clutter. One small wood rat may build a den 9 feet wide. Hold tight to your stuff if you camp near a pack rat's den. An eastern cottontail doe, here a female, makes a nest in the ground hollow or under a log when she's about to give birth. She lines her nest with grass and leaves, and finally she plucks downy fur from her underside to warm her babies, who who are born naked and helpless. Mother leaves the kittens when she goes to forage, but she visits her nest every night to nurse them. She pulls the soft furry lining over them like a blanket before she leaves. He has a toothbrush. A home can be built by an architect. A mother mountain gorilla weaves a bed for herself and her babies out of branches and leaves. Every evening, as if practicing a bedtime ritual, she creates a new one, even if the one they slept in the night before is just a few feet away. To build a ground nest, she bends branches into the center, then adds more plants, layering and anchoring them to one another. Sometimes gorillas make their beds in trees instead. Baby orangutan also sleeps in a bed his mother builds in a tree. Every day, mother pulls branches together, then braids them with smaller branches and leaves to make a mattress. She may even weave leaf pillows, blankets, and a rain roof. As her baby grows, she sometimes fashions a bunk bed for the two of them. At 6 months, he begins to practice building his own nest, but it'll be nearly 3 years before he can make one by himself. Bet you recognize this, huh? Perhaps the best animal architects are beavers. An entire family works together to fell small trees using their teeth as saws. They swim the timber to the construction site and place it in an interlocking pattern to construct a lodge. Around that, they build a dam, creating a moat-like pond to keep out predators. They dredge mud and stones from the bottom of the pond to seal the dam. And once the log is finished, the beavers chew tunnels through the walls to create underwater entrances that make it a safe haven for the year's litter of 1 to 4 kits. A home can be crowded. California sea lions make their homes mostly in the sea, but move ashore to mate and raise their young. Many mothers return to the same beaches where their mothers and grandmothers raised their pups. Like overcrowded preschools, some colonies called rookeries are inhabited by 10,000 sea lions. Can you imagine? That's a lot. While the pups nurse, rest, and grow, their mothers protect them from harm. Few sites are suited for Mexican free-tailed bat nurseries, so up to 20 million bats gather at Bracken Cave in Texas. Here, mothers and their tiny pups safely cling to the ceiling, out of reach from predators. 20 million bats? That's a lot of bats. The cave walls squiggle and squeak with as many as 500 pups per square foot. Mothers leave to hunt but return to nurse their babies each night, finding their pup among the millions of others by its unique voice and scent. Each family of black-tailed prairie dogs, called a coterie, finds safety by living close to other family groups. Together, they make a neighborhood or a ward. Several wards make up a town that can span hundreds of acres. The members of this close-knit community defend the invisible boundaries of their homes by forming a neighborhood alert system. If danger comes near, they warn one another by barking loudly. A home can be borrowed. Many animals don't build their own homes. A mother river otter finds a perfect home called a holt or a couch in a beaver lodge. Occasionally, she and her pups share the lodge with the beavers, but usually she finds one that's been abandoned. The dammed pond around the lodge is brimming with fish and crayfish to feed her family, and the lodge's underwater entrances keep the family safe from predators. Mother even makes a comfy nest inside the den by adding fresh moss and leaves. Northern flying squirrels sometimes benefit from the hard work of woodpeckers. After the birds have drilled multiple holes in a dead tree, the cavities become an apartment complex for other species of birds and animals. A colony of squirrels, which includes parents, their young, and the year's babies, occupy one cavity as a natal nest. Raccoon dens in fallen logs and tree cavities, but as sprawling human towns shrink their natural habitat, raccoons have adjusted to urban living. A mother and her kits in need of a warm, dry shelter may claim a barn, a crawl space under a house, or an attic as their own. With their dexterous fingers and clever minds, they easily adapt to new food sources too, raiding trash cans, bird feeders, and dog food bowls. pups, kits, cubs, and joeys, all baby animals need a home where they and their families are safe and sheltered, just like you. The one animal home that we haven't talked about yet is your home. If you have a pet, we would love to see a picture of it so that we can feature it in next week's STEAM Creatures. Please email a picture to pleasanthills@einetwork.net by June 22nd to be featured. And now, friends, it's time for our STEAM Challenge. This week, I am challenging you to build a creature out of pipe cleaners using these very special UV-sensitive beads. What that means is they are sensitive to UV light found in the sun. So if you take your beads outside, they change color. It's super cool. So not only are we going to build a creature using these beads, but we are going to build a home for our creature that will protect them from the sun. So let's learn a little bit more about the supplies in our STEAM kit, available while supplies last, and how to do this challenge. In our STEAM kits, there is a paper plate, 4 plastic straws, 4 pipe cleaners, 4 popsicle sticks, 2 googly eyes, 2 large index cards, and 12 UV-sensitive beads. Besides the materials listed in our kit, you're probably also going to want some scissors, some glue, and maybe also some tape. You can also use any clean recyclables that you have around the house, such as paper tubes or plastic cups or egg cartons, whatever you'd like to use to build your shelter. Your shelter should have some sort of roof and a base, and maybe also some walls. But other than that, it's really up to you. You can make it circular, you can make it square, you can make it a crazy swirly shape. There's no wrong answer, as long as it protects your creature. To make your creature, use your pipe cleaners. You probably won't need all 4 unless you're making a really complicated creature, which you totally can. There's no rules against that. You make it as hard or as simple as you would like. But while you're bending your pipe cleaner into the shape, make sure to string your beads along the pipe cleaner. It's much easier to do that before you bend it. So, let's make our creature. Once your creature is built, if it's sunny outside, take them outside and give them a test. The beads should change color right away, like this. Once you've tested them, bring your creature back inside and let it rest for a little while. It takes the beads a little bit of time to go back to being white, which I forgot to mention in our instruction sheet. But this way you know the beads work if you test them first. And now you can build your shelter. Now I'm not going to tell you how to build your shelter. That's part of the challenge. But I will show you how we can test it once it's built. When you're ready to test your creature, go outside on a sunny day. Now make sure to keep your creature covered until you're ready to test your home. Bring your home outside, position it just right, however you think it needs to be, and then check your creature. Well, my creature's turning slightly colored, but not as much as the one I put in direct sunlight. So my house might need a little bit of tinkering before it's perfect. And that's okay. Sometimes you have to try, and then try, and try again until you get it just right. We would love to see pictures of your completed creatures and animal homes. Please send us a picture to pleasanthills@einetwork.net or post it to our special Facebook group, Pleasant Hills Library Virtual Programming. Next week, we'll be talking all about pets. So don't forget to send us a pet photo. We'd love to see all the different types of pets that there are out there. Until next week, stay safe, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!